legalization of marijuana?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Do you support Black Lives Matter?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you support abortion rights?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you support the right of every worker to form a union and collectively bargain?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you support universal background checks for all firearm purchases in New Hampshire?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's the first time I ever saw that actually.
We're moving to audience questions. Several people asked this next question. We will start with Molly. We'll alternate who goes first since these are questions the candidates have not seen. So starting with Molly, what is your plan to address the opioid crisis and hold accountable the special interests that have helped create it?
How long do we have for each one?
You have 1 minute for each of these.
Okay, so I will say that what I would propose as governor immediately is to put a comprehensive plan together to preventive treatment and recovery, and that we would address this issue immediately. It is affecting everyone. It is affecting business. It is a lot of suffering, a lot of hurt, and we know that Governor Sununu has said he has more money than he knows what to do with. And I think that what we need to do is to bring everyone together. We need to treat this epidemic like we would any other medical epidemic, and it is a public health epidemic, and we must address it immediately.
Steve?
There are two elements to this. There's the cultural, and then there's the practical. So on the cultural side, it's moving, and we're getting there. We got to accelerate. Moving from a culture of a law enforcement matter to a public health matter. And from a 28-day recovery period, because that's what insurance will pay for, to what is really a lifetime. This is holistic in nature, and it's not just the detoxification. We're dealing with wellness. We're dealing with mental health in the majority of cases. It is, and after education, by the way, mental health is the second largest item that additional revenue I generate would go towards. We are in crisis mode. Used to be among the best. We got sued, we lost a lawsuit. That's the New Hampshire way. And that means we got to pay for things, and mental health is right there. But in terms of the practical, I've gone around the state, used my auditor's hat, asked people what they need. They need sustainable operating funds. It makes it difficult to hire people when you don't know if the money's going to be there in year 2. And so to me, it's approximately an additional $8 million a year, a fraction of 1% of our budget that would allow them to be able to make the hires they need and not worry about the next year.
Steve, I'll start with you on this next question. New Hampshire has one of the most regressive tax structures in the country. Both candidates call themselves progressives. How do the candidates' positions on taxes reconcile with their label as progressive?
I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but the pledge creates great regressivity. The property tax is an extremely, in the big picture, regressive means of generating money. This was not always true. There was a time near the beginning of the state's history where most of your income was an agrarian state. And so most of the income was directly matched to the amount of land you had and the value of that land, because your income was likely made from that land. Well, we are not an agrarian state for the most part now, and yet we still act like it is. I go back to, this is a 19th century model for how we raise revenue. So I have plans that begin with generating at least an additional $165 million a year of new revenue. That is the number one thing, is to provide more state support for local education and other services. This is the beginning of where we need to go in order to get into the 21st century. If we just get to average in governance, it would be amazing. And we are still below average in this regard. The opportunity to grow is very exciting.
Yes, and I've been very clear from day one in this campaign that I do not support a sales or income tax, and it's my understanding that no one else in this race for governor does either. I had talked earlier about the tax, the 100 million tax breaks to the 3% of the wealthiest corporations, and I would repeal those so that we can invest that $100 million back into education, as I said, job training, affordable college, paying our teachers and our infrastructure, and build a innovative and creative and sustainable income, and sustainable economy. Thank you. And income.
We'll start with Molly on this next question. Would you support an independent commission to redistrict New Hampshire's House and Senate districts?
Yes, I think that we have to deal with the gerrymandering that has been very hurtful. I know when I was in the Senate, I'm in District 10 down in the southwest corner of the state, that was a redistrict as well, and it changed things, and it has changed things throughout the state. So I think we need to work on how we're going to redistrict, and it now tends to be whoever's in power, so it might work best if we have some objective people as well on that committee. Thank you.
So this is one of 3 parts of what I'd like to do in the first part of 2019 that improves the way we do governance. One is an independent redistricting commission. There was an excellent bill in 2018, didn't make it all the way, so you probably would have signed it anyway. And it mimics some really good models around the country. Iowa and other states have done a lot of good work on this, so that's one. The second is, we're making it really hard for people to vote right now. And I did not think that youth civic participation was the primary problem that New Hampshire faced. So I would love to move to automatic voter registration and at a minimum repeal the lousy things that have been done in this regard over the last year and a half, and then move forward with and then the last part of the package goes back to campaign finance reform. If we do not come up with a better way that includes the public funding of elections, it's difficult to do many of the other things we're talking about today. So it's a 3-part package, of which this is one part of it.
Steve, we'll start with you on this next question. Governor Sununu has a mixed record on commuter rail in New Hampshire, opposing it in general but supporting it at times with the Amazon proposal. What is your position on commuter rail, and how would you advance public transit in New Hampshire in general?
So I do support commuter rail, and Chris supports it when he's in Nashua at the right time of day. That's his record. That's his record. Here's the thing about commuter rail. Some of the argument against it is that why are you helping people in New Hampshire making the investment to go help the Boston economy, right? I'm sick of Chris Sununu and Republicans forcing us to play defense, just like Massachusetts. It is not a bad thing that one of the most dynamic economies in the country, if not the world, the 128 belt, happens to be at the doorstep of 70% of the state's population. I want to take that commuter rail as a straw and put that into the juicy orange of the greater Boston economy. Those young people, they will move up at first and continue to commute south, that's fine. But I know eventually they're going to want to stick closer to home when they have kids. So if you have amazing pre-K through 12 public education, they move there, their kids go into school, and now after a while, we'll get them up in New Hampshire. But I think that if we don't do this, we are not going to fundamentally change the demographic challenges we face in New Hampshire.
Yes, I have supported computer rail many times. When I was in the Senate, I voted for it every single time. It is what we need to do to bring the economy forward in New Hampshire as well. Our young people, as I said earlier, are leaving. This is important to them wherever I talk with them. The whole idea of commuting and living in the state, commuter rail is important to them, and I would support that. Also, when we talk about young people, they do say, bring back rail, no question about it, and there are communities that would be, there'd be jobs, and the economy would grow. They are also looking for affordable housing, and if we grow our economy, we would be able to provide affordable housing for them as well, and they will stay here. I don't know about you, I want my children here, you probably do too. We need to have friendly public policy for them to be here, and bringing rail to New Hampshire is a friendly public policy. And I would just add to that, the other is I'm deeply, deeply disappointed by our governor passing voter suppression bills, and this one in particular that he's sitting on, looking for a good reason to vote. Okay? And our young people, yeah, they need to have a voice and not be silent. Thank you.